what's happening, everybody? We are live yet again on another Sunday night, but tonight is more specialer. We have our good pal Sean Neal with us from Funko Games. Believe it or not, there is somebody from Funko who likes us. I have to say that every time we talk about Sean Neal because I can't believe that somebody at Funko actually likes us. It's unbelievable. After all the shit that we've talked over the last couple years. Of course, tongue in cheek, and we're always joking. But finally, somebody from Funko gave us a chance.
Well, like is a strong word, Chris. Come on, let's be careful.
So, Sean, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it today because we're having like torrential thunder, like downpour. I would say thunderstorms. We don't get thunderstorms in Seattle, but we're having torrential rain today that I was kind of like tearing tree limbs down kind of rain.
Holy crap.
So, which is not normal for Seattle, by the way.
No, interesting. Yeah.
No.
By the way, Heather is knocking many things down on our table. So if you hear a lot of noises, that's what you're hearing.
Cool.
So, Sean, you have piles and piles of things behind you. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. This is so I've got a bunch of the Series 1 and Series 2 Battleworld stuff. This is the game that I work on at Funko Games. It's a Marvel game made for 6 and up, but it's like a solo to infinite number of players. There's no limits. If you can do the math, you can figure out how to start the game for any number of players. But we give you instructions on how to play with up to like 4 people. But yeah, so I've just got a bunch of stuff from Series 1, which came out in mid-pandemic in June 2020. And then we did like a little chase series right after that, where we added in some new characters and things like that. And then Series 2 just came out in June of this year, June-ish, July-ish of this year. I think more wide in like August, but that's all the yellow stuff over here. So it's all the blue stuff and all the yellow stuff. And then, yeah. And so I brought all the stuff to show you guys what we've got. I sent you guys some stuff just because I wanted you to see the figures. I wanted you to see the toys that are inside there, the hero movers, as we call them, so that you can see it. Because I think there's this idea that, sometimes games, especially in general, can have this idea that it's like not really that much of a collectible thing. But this is literally, we call it a collectible adventure game. I think is what we call it on the box. Yeah, look at that right there in the box. It says collectible adventure game.
It's right there.
I had to double check and make sure that's what we had on there.
Yeah, we fell in love with the game, and it's funny because we had made a lot of like jokes about it, and who's playing this game, and we were kind of what
we mostly joked about Funkoverse, but you did bring it up when there was the Emerald City?
No, FunCon.
SDC. Oh, it was FunCon.
I think it was FunCon. Yeah.
The Iron Man piece.
Yep.
Yeah, we were like,
that's him. Yep.
We don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
But now I give a shit about that.
Yeah, and that's when you had mentioned that you would come on live with us and have an interview series with us, it made me really excited for many reasons. One, so we can sit down and chat with you and talk to you about various things with the game. But I guess really to get the word out there that this game is awesome. And I know there are a lot of Funko collectors who collect the figures, but you can collect these figures, but you can also, implement them into this game that they've created. And the game is a lot of fun. My son, myself, and Heather sat down a couple weekends ago and we played game after, I don't know, we played for like 2.5 hours.
It was so annoying because like we had things to do, but we kept wanting to play. And it's like we kept pushing the more important than playing a game stuff off. But like we couldn't stop.
And that's no bullshit. Like we were having an excellent time playing the game. And I highly recommend all you guys out there, maybe who have not played or have given this game a shot, you should totally do that. And we'll show some more as we go along. We're going to unbox some stuff. We're going to show off some stuff. Sean, we didn't really do sort of like a proper intro, I don't think. But can you just give us like maybe like the background of you being at Funko? Like how did you get there? Like that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, it's actually a hell of a story. So was working in video games from about 2003 or 2004. I started. I was in a band for like 10 years. Prior to that, I've lived many lives.
Okay.
I was in the Army before that. We could go way back to the Army even if you wanted to. No. So I was in video games for about 14, 15 years. And I was going between like publishing and development. So publishing companies are usually companies who are just there to release and support games that other game developers make. And then I worked in some development studios like PopCap. I worked on some of the mobile games at PopCap. I worked at some companies doing like big MMORPG style games.
Wow.
Like really big stuff like that.
Okay.
And as a producer, so I really liked the development side of things. I liked being involved in making stuff. It was like, it fed the creative side of me. And so I actually interviewed at Funko 3 times.
Wow.
The first time was in 2016. I was interviewing to like work on at the time there was just starting up they were going to launch a mobile app. And so they were just kind of hiring for that. And I was just coming off of working on some mobile app stuff at a company I was at. And so I interviewed and didn't make it, unfortunately. And it was at their older offices, not where HQ is now, but there was by this other place where I took pictures. I have all these pictures from when I was literally sitting in the waiting area, and it was like a giant, like 15-foot tall Hulkbuster Funko Pop in the middle of the room.
That's
and
awesome.
Then the doorway had, I guess they did some stuff with Playmobil at some point, and so there was like a Willy Wonka Playmobil figure that's like 6 feet tall, standing next to the doorway going in and stuff. So I was like,
that's amazing.
Oh my God, I have to work here. Like I have to work at this place. This is insane. Didn't get it that time, however. And so then in 2019, I was working at a different video game company than I was in 2016. And I interviewed again, and this time it was for like a project manager for, I think, some website stuff or something like that. And didn't get it that time. I'm just extremely bummed because I had gotten like way down the chain,
Wow.
where it was like I was just waiting for the offer, and then I unfortunately didn't get picked, and super bummed. And then literally like a week later, I saw this thing pop up, and it was like Funko Games, which the acquisition of Funko Games happened in early 2019. It was announced in early 2019. There was a game development studio here in Seattle called Forest Pruzan Creative had been acquired by Funko and became Funko Games. They had like 20 years of experience. Like these folks that worked here had done things like they worked on making like some versions of Cranium. They
Wow.
had worked on hundreds of games they had invented. I mean, just insane game library.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, games. I know games. Like maybe I don't know like websites and mobile apps as well, but I know games. I've been working in games. I've been playing games since my Atari 2600, so I know games. And then I put in for it. I sent my information in, and they were also at the time hiring for an international producer. So one of my skills that I had picked up along the way was working in localization, which is where you take, like we were doing a lot of East to West games. So I was working for a lot of Korean game companies where we would take a Korean game, translate it into English, localize it, and release it here in the US or North America, Europe. And so they hired me to be the international producer for the Funkoverse games. That was what I was originally hired in September of 2019. And then I was doing that for like 2 or 3 months. And then they were like, hey, you like Marvel, right? And I was like, I know quite a bit about Marvel. Yeah, sure. They're like, cool. This is called Marvel Battleworld. It's now yours.
Wow.
So
That's
like,
awesome.
Oh, okay, cool. And so they were like, it's going to be these little toys and all this stuff. And I was absolutely like floored. I was like, this is amazing. This is everything I've trained for in my life is like coming finally like converging at this point, like toys, games, nobody who knows me was surprised that I was like with my job. They're like, yeah, this is pretty much where you needed to be in the long run anyway. So
that's interesting. Yeah. It's like you tried out for the team several times for maybe spots that you really didn't, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have worked out the way that it did today. And you just so have, I mean, it almost seems like fate, right? Like you get the job that you were like almost built for. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. How did
absolutely.
you not get discouraged after like not hearing anything back? I'd be like,
I
man,
was
screw
actually,
them.
yeah, I was laid off at one point and I was out of work for about 8 months, and I was literally interviewing like once or twice a day, every day for 8 months.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's discouraging. So
Yeah.
that pretty much set me up to be like, I can do anything at this point. Like, if I can get hired or not, it doesn't matter anymore. I've been in so many, like, I mean, I interviewed at Amazon like 4 times, and those interviews are like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like a 50 minutes with 2 different people over and over and over throughout the entire day. So you see like 12 to 18 people, and then it was I had did that like 3 times or 4 times, I think, and didn't get hired, and so that pretty much will beat you down.
Yeah, an all-day event like that? I had no idea it played out like that. That's insane.
I have a question. If the interviews for Amazon are that extensive, why the fuck don't they use bubble wrap for my Funko Pops?
That's a good question, Heather. Well, how do we get people that are on the phone, like the help desk people? How are they so crappy? Remember, like do you remember like
They canceled.
my Marvel Collecticore box got canceled when I called to ask like where it was? They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh
we're
my
gonna
God.
cancel it.
Yeah. Excuse me, where is my package? Oh, I just canceled that.
I
You're
just
welcome.
canceled it for you.
Have
Yeah.
a good day.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But Battleworld is a pretty interesting thing to be picked up on, right? I mean, Funko is not necessarily known for Battleworld; they're known for their pops and now their sodas and all that jazz. So you kind of got you've gotten into something a little bit, I don't know, a little bit different in the Funko world.
Yeah, I think it bridges the gaps for a lot of people. I think Funkoverse and Battleworld, both of those, especially I think even for folks at Funko proper at HQ, I think that these games help bridge the gap, right? Because we do lots of board games. I was part of the team that worked on the Godzilla Tokyo Clash game that came out back in, I think it came out in the middle of 2020 as well. I worked on it in 2019, so it would have been middle of 2020.
Wow.
I helped on that team. A few other games. I mean, we released the Pan Am game. Like, there's all these. Those are proper board games that when you think of, you go to the store and you see the big wall of board games, or your local game store or whatever, and that's those kind of games. But these games really do kind of bridge that world between toys and games, which is, I think, what Funko. That was the whole idea, was to open up their portfolio and bridge that gap some. And so. Yeah, it's really cool because it's good and bad, right? It's good in the case that like I get lots of support and lots of people are really excited about it. And we had an animated cartoon series made for my game and for our game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that means all eyes are always on. I've been in meetings with Mike Becker. I've been in meetings with some of the folk. With stuff like that. That can be intimidating for someone who's only been at the company for 2 years, or at that time less than 2 years when we were doing those things. So it's great because I get lots of support from other team members and from our management and from everything. At the same time, we're always kind of pushing the boundary to see what else we can do, something new. What else can we make? Marvel is amazing to work with. We meet with Marvel once a week, every week, and show them what we're working on.
Wow.
We collaborate with them on ideas for like characters. They have allowed us to invent a couple characters just for our game. So that there's few things cooler than talking to arguably the biggest comic book company in the world and helping come up with new versions of their characters.
That's interesting. Have they ever used any of these characters in any other properties?
Not yet. They're still relatively new. I think Series 2 was one of the big ones. Let's see, Series 2. We did the. I believe I sent you guys the Talon Fighter, right? So there's a
yes.
Black Panther 2099 that does not exist in the 2099 comics. So we got to work with Marvel and design the character, come up with the outfit, come up with like what he would look like, what his powers would be, all that kind of stuff. What are some other ones? Spider Island Groot. That does not exist.
Heather loves
He
that
went
one.
through many iterations of before we landed on the like berries. It makes more sense if you watch the cartoon. I remember watching when you guys were opening this up. There is the cartoon where it explains why he's dressed like this. But yeah, so Spider Island Groot, things like that.
I actually did watch some of the cartoons. I don't know if I necessarily paid attention about the outfit or whatever, but the cartoons were really well done. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That was some cool stuff. The little figures are neat too. So aside from this being a game, a playable game, which is, by the way, awesome, the little figures are really neat. So if you have two reasons as to why you would get into all of this, I do like that you guys are creating your own characters. And I noticed that when you sent a lot of this stuff to us originally, I'm looking through the characters and I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard of this before, you know? In fact, there was one, it's Doctor Strange, the crocodile Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Croctor Strange.
Yeah, Croctor Strange. That one's awesome. Like, is that something you guys developed?
No, that's not something that we actually developed, but there is, so part of the conceit of Battleworld, both in the comics and in our game, is that it's kind of a mishmash of the multiverse, right? Which everybody is now familiar with the multiverse.
Yes.
Because of the MCU, right? Everyone that's really introduced the entire world to what this concept is. But in the comics, that's been around for, decades, for how long they've been exploring it. Battleworld itself in the comics started in 1984. So it's been around that long. The idea of mashing all of these universes together. And so what we did was just took the idea and worked with Marvel and came up with the game idea of, well, what would happen if all of these characters are forced together from all these different properties you would never normally see them crossing over and working together to fight against Thanos, or working together to fight against there's all kinds of crazy villains that you fight against in the battles in the game. But yeah, I mean, some of them we got to invent, but like Croctor Strange is from a anamorphic world called Earth 8311, where Peter Porker, aka Spider Ham,
right,
has all of his punny animal versions of characters. And so we had Captain Americat.
Yes.
Ant is another great one, which doesn't. Unfortunately, the figure for Ant doesn't really sell. How he's just supposed to be an actual ant inside of the Ant-Man costume. Croctor Strange, of course. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. I guess I can just look on the back here. Let's see, Croctor Strange. Who are some of the other animal versions? Spider Ham, Throg, which no one knew who Throg was, and then all of a sudden he showed up in the Loki series,
yeah,
and I was like, we
fan.
did it first. We had him first.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're having these meetings with Marvel on a weekly basis. That's quite often.
Yeah. We meet with a few members of their their development team that works with us on making sure that getting us approval on characters, approval on locations. Marvel is they're it's hard to believe they're a subsidiary of Disney, which gives you an idea of just how big all this stuff is. But
oh yeah,
the people we're talking to are only in like one division. They have to go then reach out and talk to like, oh, you're going to do stuff for Sony? Are you going to do stuff for Spider-Man? Well, we'll talk to Sony for you. You're going to do something with this character. We'll check in with studio and see what the MCU is doing to make sure that there's nothing that kind of that the two kind of slam into each other, or we don't go again, confuse people.
Sure.
We know where we are in the overall feeding trough. We know where we are in the line. I think the MCU probably trumps what we do sometimes. So, but the comics, a lot of these characters are in ongoing comics right now too. So sometimes they're like, oh, hey, this thing is going to be happening in the comics around this time. It'd be really cool maybe if we could all work together on this so that you guys are a part of that too. So yeah, we get to work with them a lot, and it's awesome. And plus, no joke, we will sometimes, especially like when the Loki series was on, we would spend half our phone call just being like, what the hell is happening on this show? This is insane.
That's awesome.
They don't know, because even internally, like no one shares any of that information internally, even with them. So they're just like, other fans that work for the company that they're putting the stuff out. I feel the same way when I see like reveals from Funko. I'm like, I had no idea we were making that. That's so cool.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool that you're having these conversations with people at Marvel. Do you ever get into any clashes with these people? Are they like not down with what you're coming up with, or like you try to develop or design a new character? Are they like, not really a big fan of this, or is it everybody pretty easygoing and it's all mutual?
It's all pretty easy. I mean, everybody there is great, and it is really collaborative. So rarely is it. Rarely would you ever get something like a no, you can't do this. Instead, it's usually more like it's very creatively like that won't work, but this might.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot more like that. They're really great to work with. They're super fun. They love this as much as we do. So that makes it easy, right? Like I think if we were working with people who were just like could give no shits less about what we were doing, it would probably be difficult. But we are just blessed to have like really cool people as our licensors for these, especially the folks at Marvel. I expected no less, to be honest. Like I was like, man, just like working in here, like you're gonna have to be kind of cool to work in this place, right? Like you have to be kind of. And they're the people we work with are amazing. So
you'd mentioned before you end up in meetings and Mike Becker's in there. So just like is Mike Becker, working with somebody like him or being in a meeting with somebody like him, he just seems like an amazingly awesome, fun person. Is that just who he is all the time? Is that just who Mike Becker is?
My few interactions I've had with him and with Brian and with other Reese, and Reese and them, I've had much more interactions with Reese and Sean up at HQ. I meet with them on a weekly basis as well. Mike and Brian, I've only been in like maybe 2 meetings with. Mike, I've been in 1 or 2 meetings with, and yes, they are absolutely that way all the time. They're super fun, super creative. They're always trying to think of like the next cool thing, and like they've got a proven track record, so it's kind of hard to like be like, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Like, well, obviously they do. So I it's intimidating for me in that a lot of these people I've looked up to for a long time, and so for me it's only the intimidation where it's like, how am I in this room right now with these people? Like, this is amazing. So I every day am just kind of like this. I can't believe that I get to do this for a living. This is amazing.
Sean, Neal, you're an amazing person too. Don't count yourself out. That's so. Working for Funko, you love working there. It's a great place to work.
Yeah, it's everything I ever wanted in a job. It's everything. So cool. It's literally, I have worked jobs where even the 40 hours was like, oh, please kill me. Like, just like, my God, this is the longest 40 hours that's ever existed in the history of time.
Right.
But here it's like, I'm bored in the evening, so I'll jump on and start coming up with ideas for a game idea for maybe not even for Marvel. One of the things that we have here is like we have this thing called Blue Sky, which is like a base camp online place for us to store ideas. And it's just ideas for games. And it's ideas for licensed games and licenses, and also just ideas for games in general. And it's like, hey, it'd be really cool. Like, has anybody seen blah, blah, blah? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something recent. I wouldn't want to give anything away, but Squid Game. There's one that everyone knows about, right? Like, what can we do? How can we turn Squid Game into something? And somebody internally was like, hey, Squid Game, well, if you can get through the gore, if you don't have a problem with that, like there's some really interesting game theory stuff inside that show, like that we should look at and explore. So like I'll spend all evening like doing that. I was part of the Seinfeld team that did the Seinfeld game came out this year. I guess it came out. And I was the producer on that. And we literally had to watch the entire Seinfeld series like 4 times because we were writing trivia questions and pulling quotes. And so we had to like watch the entire series. During the pandemic, I was literally at home watching Seinfeld for work on work hours, like getting paid to watch Seinfeld. I was like, this isn't like,
that's crazy.
Even when it gets stressful, it's still fun. If I guess is what I'm trying to say. And most jobs, when they get stressful, they just get stressful and they make you want to go home. Here, it's like, I just want to work through the problem and figure it out. Like I want to work with everybody in the building at some point in time and help them solve a problem. That's what I want to do.
I wish everybody's jobs were like that. That's amazing.
I do too.
Feel
I wish
good.
everybody could find their place in the world, like that.
Sure. Yeah. Are these questions?
Yeah, we have a couple questions from the people watching. Sean, do you want to answer a few?
Sure.
So one of the questions actually did pertain to Squid Game. Do you think that Funko might do something in the game realm with
That's hard to
Squid
say
Game?
because the licensing, it starts with licensing, right? Like the first thing we'd have to do is we'd have to come up with an idea. Usually like the birth of a game is someone comes up with an idea that we all think has got some legs. So we'll post it and internally we'll talk about it and then we'll pitch it to the licensor. So we'll go to the licensor, in this case, Netflix, and we would say like, hey, we really love the idea of making a game for Squid Game. Here's a picture of what it could look like. And sometimes we'll show them like a mock-up image of what the game board could look like and what the game pieces could look like and what we're thinking about, and a little paragraph that kind of describes the gameplay like an elevator pitch. And then from the licensing point, that's when it then kicks off into, okay, they like the idea, now they want to hear a little bit more, or nah, they're already working with somebody else, or they're just not interested in doing games or whatever. So it's hard to say with licenses what will happen. So it could, it could happen. I've seen it, it seems like a cool idea for one. It'd be hard to come up. I'd hate to have a game where we all have to kill each other. I hope that wouldn't be the end goal.
No. So you're not killing anybody. So
what a great game.
What's going to happen, Sean? Let Funko know. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
When someone dies, there is a bloody variant.
Oh.
I don't know what you do with it, but there's a bloody variant.
Good
and
Lord.
it somehow fits in with the game, okay? Just remember that.
Ship it. Done. I'm going to ship it tomorrow. It's ready to go. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's who knows? There are a million great licenses we'd love to make games for that we've had ideas for. We've had licenses. We've had everything from licenses that were not interested in making games to licenses that that did want us to make a game, maybe didn't like our ideas, and we just keep coming up with new ideas and keep inventing new ones. We have and then we have licenses that just come to us and say, hey, will you make it? The folks here have been around for so long doing such cool games and are so highly regarded in the board game industry that they do get approached. We do get approached sometimes by licensors that are like, we want you to make our game.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see it yet, but if you haven't seen the Goonies game that we released this year, it is, well, actually Goonies is going, but also the Back to the Future game. And that's far more up your guys' alley. The Back to the Future game that we released last year, last fall, I think. It's called Back to the Future, Back in Time. And it is literally like you're playing the first movie. I mean, it is so cool. I play tested that game with a bunch of folks here. We do a game night once a month where we just all bring in board games. We get pizza and we all just sit around and drink beer and eat pizza and play games all night.
That's awesome.
Usually other people's games. But when we are shipping a whole bunch of games, we also want to use the fact that we're all here to play our own games too, and just continually test and make sure and iterate, make sure they're the best they can be. And we played that game. The entire room got quiet because there was 4 of us standing up around the table, screaming at the top of our lungs and pounding on the table because we were literally like 2 rolls from the game being over, and it was still in the balance of whether we were going to win or lose the game.
Wow.
And it was a cooperative game, and like Biff kept kicking our asses, and it was insane, and it was so much fun. As soon as the game came out, I bought my own copy from Target, took it home, got my kid to play it with me. I was like, this is like one of the coolest games. Goonies, same thing. They're beautiful. They're just it's like playing the game. It's like playing the movie. It's like what you always wanted. It was like, it's not a video game, but it's still it's a board game, or you get to play those characters. It's so cool. So cool.
Is Funko's idea with their games for it to mostly be all ages, or is there any idea or focus ever to do a mature game? Because I mean, that's where Squid Game, I guess, would fall like into that category. Other licenses, I guess you would say, are more adult. Is that something that you think Funko would ever be interested in, like more of an adult
I
sort
don't
of
think
thing?
I don't think they would shut it down. There's no, I don't think there's a mandate where we would say, no, we're not going to make a game, because because it can't be all ages or anything. For instance, I believe the Seinfeld game, I believe it's 14 and up.
Oh,
Can I see it in here? It is 14 and up because Seinfeld, I can't, is it WB? I think is the licensor on that one, or Universal. Damn,
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it's WB.
okay.
They have a requirement that it needs to be 14 and up. And going back and watching Seinfeld, by the way, when I was watching those ridiculous amount of episodes, we were watching 190 episodes over and over. There are a lot of topics in there that you're like, I don't remember Seinfeld being as racy as that show really was.
Absolutely.
For the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an episode that's all about like Elaine and her diaphragm.
Yep.
And she's going to allow someone to her birth control. Who's going to be allowed to, use the birth control? I mean, like that's an episode that was on primetime TV in the 90s.
It was,
and we had to do like a question about it in the game. And you're like, okay, I don't think I can ask a 10-year-old about prophylactics or something.
the sponge episode.
The sponge, that's what it is. That's right.
And then there was an episode where they were all talking about whoever was the first.
The first to
masturbate. Yeah. Now that was like a big topic of discussion one episode. Yeah, there were a lot of racy sort of topics on that show.
And
man, what a great show!
And like we literally were trying to write a trivia question for every episode, and it's got to be about the big hook. And so we got to those episodes, and we were like, what do we do with this? Like, I don't want to and we have to make an illustration. I was like, I don't want to have someone illustrate like a birth control sponge. Like I just, can we find something else to make a joke about in this? Like, there's got to be other jokes that we can do in these episodes. So some of the like racier episodes we make very broad. I think the conversation around the sponge episode was something around like the box of sponges or something like that. Like it was something that I kind of avoided talking about what was in it, but like, yeah.
Dean Blockley's in the chat.
I don't think they would move away from having like mature rated stuff. Like, do I think we're going to make the next Cards Against Humanity next week or anything? I don't know if that's really in the cards right now, but, yeah, I think we're always open to everything. I mean, anything that's a fun game, we'll find a way to squeeze our heads around it, I think, as a group. That's the cool part is we have so many game designers. I mean, we have game designers, graphic designers, and everybody's ideas are valid. So it's not like I go into a room with a brain trust of 4 people that come up with all the games. Like everybody in this building can post anything they want about any kind of game or any kind of license, and it could take off as the next game. I've seen multiple games come from all over the place in here. So
that's awesome. That's cool that there's like a place where you guys can put all of your ideas and concepts and stuff like that. That's really neat. Having that like think tank available.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll even do something like that, and maybe the game, right now isn't the right time for it.
Sure.
And it might be like, This seems like a good idea, but it doesn't have the right feet or it doesn't have the right license. We do unlicensed games too. Everything we do isn't just Marvel and licensed stuff. We have some unlicensed games we've done as well. And it's like maybe we wait for the right license to like latch onto this, or maybe we know like, oh man, this would be great for this, weird 70s movie that hardly anybody's seen, but man, it would be the perfect license to marry with this. Like maybe we try to do that, introduce the world to that movie and stuff, see if they'd be open to it.
Dean Blockley in the chat says sponge worthy. We also got Danny. I was in the pool. Remember that? Shrinkage.
Oh yeah, the shrinkage. Yeah.
We do have a couple more questions here, and then I want to pop into some of the stuff that you sent us, and we're going to take a look at that stuff and show that right here on cam. Heather, go ahead. What are the questions?
Dean Blockley asked if there will be another Battleworld style game, but with different licenses. For example, like DC.
Specifically around Battleworld?
similar to Battleworld because your Battleworld is Marvel, right?
Yeah. Battleworld is specifically a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
We could do something in the future with other licenses. I can't, obviously things that are in development we can't really talk about or things that we're thinking about, but the doors aren't closed to anything like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So we haven't really expanded past Battleworld. So I don't really know exactly what, like the Back to the Future game. I don't believe it's set up like Battleworld, right? With like
no, it's a normal board game. Like it's a box board game, like an hour and a half gameplay.
Cool.
Like if you were to have a game night with friends and family or whatever, that's that kind of game for that.
That's what
the other smaller games we do have other ones like Something Wild.
Yeah, I've seen
those before.
This one just came out. So we have two series that are based off of pop stuff right now. Something Wild and the Funkoverse stuff. I happen to have the Marvel Funko, all the Marvel stuff with me since we were talking Marvel anyway.
Sure.
But this is a super fun game. Interestingly, Something Wild also, there's all kinds of, we started with Disney, and then I think we did Marvel, and we've got some Star Wars ones coming out. And we've got, I think there's like Dr. Seuss and some other ones. But anyway, they all also can be mixed. So they aren't like Funkoverse. You can actually take the cards and the figure from this game and mix it with like the Mickey Mouse one and play them together. And there's rules in here for how to mix versions of the game together. So it's kind of like Battleworld in that, like, if you get more than one, you don't have to choose which one you're going to play. You can actually play all of them at the same time if you want. So it's like a system. I guess game system would be the best way to refer to it.
Sure.
Like Funkoverse is a game system. You can mix and match all the Funkoverse games. First time I ever played Funkoverse before I started working here, I was kind of like, I had just gotten hired, and I figured, well, I should find out what game I'm going to be working on. And so it was about to come out. Funkoverse, the first version was about to come out. The Harry Potter, DC, and Golden Girls, and Rick and Morty ones all came out at the same time. And so I went to a local comic shop and met a couple of the producers that I now work with that were there showing off Funkoverse.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, by the way, I just got hired by Funko, so I'll be working with you. I don't want you to think I'm like undercover trying to spook you guys out or anything, but I was wondering if you could show me how the game's played. And so I played as Rose from the Golden Girls and Rick from Rick and Morty against Harry Potter and Batman. So I was like, I already love this game. This is so friggin' cool.
Okay, so what character won?
I believe Harry Potter won.
Of
and
course.
I know that'll make you happy. Of course he did.
Of course.
He's a little overpowered. He's a little OP.
Dean Blockley posts. Dean Blockley's getting a lot of love tonight, by the way. Anna Reyes does have a question. I'll get to Dean Blockley. Her question is something that you won't be able to answer.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know.
think you'll be able to answer
But
this.
she's asking, is Funko still working to try to get, I guess, the fully Nintendo license?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, licensing department. We have an entire. I mean, as you can imagine, Funko has an entire division that is only around licensing. I mean, think of every pop culture property in the world that we've released. So they're always looking for new licenses and banging on doors trying to get stuff like that. So I don't know. I actually don't know if they are or not. My assumption is I'm sure that they've tried. I believe here in Seattle, in Bellevue, the Pokemon company is also here too. They're located in Seattle too.
Okay.
The American division. And so that's another one that people ask all the time. I'm kind of like, they're in the same town, so I'm sure they've talked. I have no idea whether they'll ever work together, but I'm sure it's happened at some point in time in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The licensing folks, that's a job that I can't imagine how much stuff they have to keep up with, just with the number of licenses and games and things like that.
It's got to be painful.
Figures.
It's got to be painful. And I'm sure they're getting a lot of I bet Funko, their support or whatever, probably gets so many questions about Nintendo. It seems like the number one question that is always brought up during any Funko kind of related event. People want to know, when is Nintendo going to be a Funko thing?
Yeah. I would love to have a Zelda pop.
Hell yeah, man. Hell
Throw
yeah.
my name in the hat too. I want a Link Pop and a Zelda Pop. That's
Same.
what I want. So.
Same here. Dean Blockley says, be awesome to have an explanation of how the game works, because the general mindset of Funkoverse is that the game is really confusing and hard to play, which may scare people away from trying other games.
Dean, hold on. Are you referring to Battleworld or Funkoverse? I think he's referring to Battleworld.
I'm
right?
not sure. Maybe, but I will say that it's often in circles. I'll hear people mention that Funkoverse is not an easy game to play,
Which is why we haven't even tried.
We actually do have a set that we do want to try, but we never jumped into it. But I will say for Dean, this game, Battleworld, is very easy to pick up. Sean, you had pointed us in the direction of watching a video on YouTube, and we watched that video.
No, I think we watched a different video.
We watched his video also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Max and I watched that, and then we watched a couple other videos as well.
He didn't wait for me.
That's right. And we learned as much as we could, but then, we figured some things out along the way on our own, right? By reading Heather's really good with reading the directions. I'm horrible with that. I just jump into shit, but Heather is very, she takes the long route.
That's why our IKEA furniture always breaks.
That's correct. Always, right. But yeah, so what would you say to somebody, Sean, that says, well, I heard Funkoverse is really hard to play. What do I do? Yeah. Should I play it? What do you tell this people?
No, Battleworld.
Or
Battleworld.
Yeah.
Or Battleworld. Anyway, it's the same answer for both of them. And I have to say, I will say this, we treat our biggest hurdle, we understand our biggest hurdle for anyone to play a board game is the instructions. Right. That is the hurdle, right? And if you pick up a game like Back to the Future, it's a booklet. Because it's a full board game. I mean, you think about, everyone knows how to play Monopoly because you were taught that when you were a kid. Somebody else taught you how to play that, right? No one pulled out the instructions and said, okay, let's learn how to play Monopoly together. It's just been handed down from generation to generation.
Absolutely.
So our biggest hurdle is that. And so what we try to do is we're constantly evolving. So if you look at the Funkoverse instructions for the current Marvel set, and compare it to those ones from Harry Potter, I'm sure the instructions are probably very different because we're always updating and adapting and revising to try to make them easier and easier to understand. That said, the best way in the world for me to learn anything is to go on YouTube and watch a video of it. We do make how to play videos, and most of our products, I believe, have a URL on the package that will point you in the direction of where to go watch that how to play video, usually on the instructions themselves. Battleworld, I know, also does too, has a little instruction video. But it's a quick, this is how you play. It's more of a quick setup. But go find somebody who, there are lots of people who just do videos where they're just let's explain to you how to play this game. Yeah. And it sounds like, I think, Heather, the one you were referring to, you guys ended up watching was an hour-long video or something like that really got into the nitty-gritty and the real details on how to play Battleworld. Which is what
I need.
And yeah, and some people, and that's exactly. I mean, it's difficult because we immerse ourselves for months and months and months in this game, and we play test it. We put it in front of people who've never played the game before. We have an observation room here at the office where it looks like a living room it has a fireplace and a big kitchen table and stuff in it.
That's awesome.
And it has a giant one-way mirror and cameras and microphones in the room. Wow. And then we sit in another room and we watch people play our games. And we make notes of all the spots where they just start skipping through the instructions, or they missed this, they misread this paragraph, or they read it this way and we intended it to be this way. And it's not that they're doing it wrong; they're doing it exactly right. It's us that are doing it wrong, right? We're trying to figure out how to make it as understandable as possible. So we know that's probably one of our biggest hurdles, and so we're constantly revising and reworking and redoing them. The Battleworld instructions have changed since Series 1. They've changed multiple times just to make things more clear and clarify more and know that people run into walls on this and so let's figure out how to clear that out of their way. And so I think the best way to do it for me is always to go watch a video. And there are plenty of people who make their own videos. And also, not for nothing, but this isn't like a video game. These are board games. Yeah. You can make house rules. You could read it and be like, I think this is how it works, so this is how we're going to play it. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. that might not work out great for you in a game like that Back to the Future one, where it's literally every game is a nail biter, and if you didn't do everything exactly right, But that game also has this, the instruction booklet for it. You would totally appreciate as well. It's the Tales from Space comic book.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when you open up the box and take it out, it looks like the comic book from the movie.
That's cool.
And then the instructions are all laid out to look like you're kind of going through the comic book version of the movie or something, as it kind of all lays out. It tells you the rules, and instructions, and how to set up, and all those kind of things. So
now, real quick, is the Back to the Future game, is it a board game or is it a card game?
It's a board game.
It is a board game?
It's a full board game.
Because I remember seeing photos, but okay.
Yeah, it has little miniatures of Einstein, Doc, Marty, oh my God, I can't remember. What's the dad's name? George,
George,
yep. And Elaine? Not Elaine.
No.
I'm mixing it.
Yeah, Lorraine.
Lorraine.
Yep.
And Jennifer. Oh man, I got all the names.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got miniatures of all of them, like sculpted miniatures of each of those characters, and then it has. Oh my God, it's awesome. It's got a little DeLorean, a little painted DeLorean that comes with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because during the course of the game, you have to try to get all the gear on the DeLorean and fix the DeLorean up while you try to keep George and Lorraine in love with each other the whole time.
That's
stop
awesome.
Biff from beating everybody up, and then at the exact right moment, the car has to be in the right space next to the clock tower. And it comes with a clock. You get to build a little clock tower, dice tower to drop your dice through. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so immersive and so cool. That's the stuff that, like, unlike a lot of other game companies, like Funko Games is putting like thought into, like, we want you to immerse yourself in this game, not just like pull it out and mindlessly play some, reskinned version of Monopoly for, whatever license. Hey, this is a DC Monopoly, so now you're going to buy spaces that's like Wayne Manor. And like, that's kind of phoning it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, make something cool and new and interesting,
Absolutely, yeah. Since we were talking about Battleworld a minute ago, we have Battleworld stuff here that you sent us.
I do, and I have some here too. We can all see what we got.
Yeah, so
I think I sent you. What? Well, let's see. What all did I send you guys?
You sent us, which is funny because I mentioned this to you a while back. This is the Iron Man from FunCon. So you did send me that, so thank you for that. That's awesome.
No problem.
That's
cool.
And
Max can take it. It's got a clip because it's made to attach to his backpack, and he can carry his favorite character around with him.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
But we only have one, so who's getting it? Because
it's gonna be fisticuffs.
That's right. Oh yeah, and it has like the little spinny thing down here also.
Yeah, you can replace the dice. You can use it. It uses the same as the die that comes with the game. It has the 1 through 10, the star, and the space on it.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You can use this instead if you want.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Okay, and then we have a couple of battle balls. Now this one is from what wave is this? Oh, okay. So this is Mystery of Thanos Stones. Oh, so series 1.
Series 1.
The series 1. And then we also have, hi Benno. We have this is series 2.
Yep.
Treachery at Twilight. So all this stuff, like the Mystery of Thanos Stones and the Treachery of at Twilight, rather, these can be mixed together, right? So you can play with all the different characters together and all that jazz.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Just so it's clear for everybody.
We also have, like, we do like the big mega packs too, and all this is like, this is a complete game. That's the thing that's, this is a complete game by itself. You can get one battle ball and play the game. Like, this is it. If you buy this is basically like a value pack. This is like getting 3 battle balls worth of stuff for a little bit less than what you would get 3 battle balls for.
Yeah.
And so it comes with 1 exclusive figure, and then there's 5 more figures inside here that are all mystery figures. There's 2 inside the Thanos Stones and 3 in the bottom.
So it looks like you have this note on here says for Max. Is all this is Max's?
Those are for Max.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so we'll show this anyway since it's out of the battle ball. This is Ghost. Spider.
Yeah. So we were at Gen Con last month, And this was an exclusive. We only made a few hundred of these.
Wow.
And it's Ghost Spider, also known as Spider Gwen, but Ghost Spider is her official name. And we did a version of her in series 2 where she's wearing her mask right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is the unmasked version of her that you can only get from that little promo pack. So there you go.
Okay, so
and it comes with a special like foil card that has like her own unique artwork with her face exposed.
I love that, by the way. I love that you guys do the foil cards. They look really cool.
They're cool looking, right?
Yeah, they really are. This is this the collector?
Yeah, so this is the collector's tower. So this is an expansion. So this is this is not a standalone piece, but this can be added into your game. And so this has the collector, and it has there's a card underneath, and this gets to be used as a dice tower. So if you open this up, there's little knobs and paddles, and you drop your die through the top, and there's a special little die that you can, if you get it to come out the front, it'll knock that die loose, and you get to use that die for the rest of your game, and it's like a special powered die. But it's just a cool toy where we get to move the knobs, and the die kind of, it's like a pachinko, falls down and kind of hits all these little paddles as it goes down, and you're trying to get it to come out the front, not the side. There's a little entrance and an exit on there.
So who's behind the design of something like this? Is this something you guys are all sitting in a room trying to figure? Oh, that's cool. Okay. That's
so
awesome.
we have a sculpting team here on site that works with us. And one of them is they all have their own specialties. And one of them is one of my main sculptors on all the figures. He sculpted pretty much all the figures you see. And then the other one is the other sculptor. He is amazing at lots of like mechanics and machinery and inanimate things like that. And so he helped design this, but it was all collaborative. It was everybody from our director of creative down to me, down to the sculptor, down to the sculptor's boss, down to Marvel, all kind of coming up with what we wanted it to look like and how it was going to work. It went through numerous versions before we landed on this one. There was a version where it was going to be a twisty tower that you would twist levels around and try to keep dropping a die to try to see if you can get it to go straight through. There was all these different ideas, and then it was just like, okay, we have the idea. Now the mechanics of it, let's put the experts on it, and you guys come back and tell us how we can make this.
Which figure are you most like proud of? Is there one that stands out for you? You're just like, man, this is exactly the figure I wanted.
Yeah, Series 2 Ghost Rider 2099. That is my favorite figure by far, because the idea that we had for him was that the back of his head is on fire, and he has this like big silver mask.
Yes.
And so we did it so it's all translucent. So you can shine a light from behind, and his eyes and his mouth light up when you do it, when you shine a light from behind it. Because I wanted it to it's just cool. And he's wearing leather. He's got a chainsaw on his arm. Like he's pretty badass.
That's a badass character. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, do you want to open some battle balls? We both have two here. We can open them up. The one cool thing about the Thanos Stones one, there are chances that you can get the Chase Infinity Hero. And on the back, it actually reads, there's an Ultron, which that would be cool to get. Zombie Red Skull, Red King, Loki, Zombie Venom, and Zombie Mysterio that you can get.
I'm going to open one of these.
You want to open the yellow one? I'm going to open the blue one.
Sean.
What am I going to open? I'm going to open a blue one, too.
Awesome.
Ooh. Sean, are these characters in the Funko app, or are there plans to put them in the Funko app, these pieces?
That's a great question. It's not in the Funko app, but that's a good idea. I will see what I can find out about that.
Brilliant, Heather. Look at you.
No, it's not me. I'm not taking credit. Professor. What's a professor? Professor Josh asked.
Oh, Professor. Well, that's a brilliant question, Professor Josh.
That's a great. Yeah, that's a
you
great
said
idea.
Professor too.
Professor Josh.
Right now, the only checklists we have are on the instructions and on the back of the mega packs. There's checklists, and then if you're lucky enough to go to the store and buy the last few, and they'll let you have the PDQ, there's a nice big checklist on the PDQ box at the store.
Ooh.
All right, who did I get? I got Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
I don't
me a
know who
Spider-Man.
I got. Okay. What's this? Oh, this is interesting. So
Yes, I got Zombie Red Skull. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Zombie Red Skull. This I don't think I have this one.
you don't.
That's awesome. I
Let me
really
see
wanted
him.
the zombie characters. He's missing an arm. He has like his eyeball is hanging out of his head.
Let me see it.
That is.
This. You know what, Sean? This might be my favorite figure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, look at him.
That's awesome.
Dean,
Yeah, he's a great one from Series 1. I forgot about how cool that one was.
He is really cool. And then this one also comes with Loki, so I have a Loki in there also.
I
So
got
I haven't. What'd you get?
Black Widow 2099.
Oh man,
We don't have her.
she's awesome. And if you don't know about that character in the comics, you should totally read the 2099 comics and read about her. She is a Black Widow in the comics.
Oh, that's badass.
Oh, that's cool.
She.
Who'd you get?
I got Chase version of Zombie Venom.
Dude,
That's cool.
awesome.
So do the chase versions have different powers than...
The Chase version, now that's a great question. We do have now give me a second. I have to remember. There's a bunch of different rules as to how we did this. I believe the zombie version has, or the Chase version has the same stats, but a different power.
Okay.
And then the
That's
special
cool.
edition versions, so like you know how we have the Loki and then we have the Frost Giant Loki?
Yes.
I think the Frost Giant Loki is the opposite. They have a different stats and the same power. I think they reverse. We have a whole rule set for when we create these on how they're supposed to be.
Okay, so Zombie Red Skull has a power that is unlike anything I've seen before. His power is Mastermind. Zombie Red Skull adds +2 to his attacks when he is alone. Typically, the characters we've played with, when they're with other characters, they
They
more
get
powerful.
more powerful.
He's more powerful by himself. That's a
Interesting.
good character.
He's a loner.
Yeah, I like this one.
Well, I would be too if I looked like that. Nobody wants to be his friend. Black Widow 2099 has calculating. So when she rolls an odd number, her attack hits. So does it not matter how large or small the number is?
Doesn't matter.
So her
You could
attack
roll a
will
one.
hit if like, okay, right here, I can battle Electro 2099, and you have to roll at least an 8 in the green or red. Yes, we call them green and red. I don't know what they are.
People, I've heard that. I've also heard like fisties, brainies, speedies, and explodies.
Oh,
That's
I
the
like
other
that.
one. That's what we usually, even though that's not what they really are. That's what we call them internally too, because that name stuck.
I love that. So he's an 8. You have to roll an 8. So even if she rolled a 5, she would still attack him because she has that power. But if she rolled a 6, she wouldn't attack because it's less than an 8.
Right.
Oh, I like that. I'm so glad you're here because I would be trying to message that to you.
Also love the art direction of a lot of this stuff. So like this one is a very interesting one. This is the Vulture, and it's an actual vulture. I love like the artwork on these cards. Like as an example, there's Loki, and he's like doing like a kind of a jump attack there.
Yeah.
He's a cool character too. We have a bunch of him. You actually sent us a bunch of Loki. He's awesome. One of my faves.
So,
Yeah, we have so many versions of him so far. So many variants of Loki.
He's
whoa,
awesome.
I see what you did there.
Yay!
See that?
Quick question.
Unplanned, by the way. I had no idea that was happening in the MCU, so that was totally just happenstance.
So, just a question. I noticed that this little part here, you can set your character on it. Is there a purpose for that?
It was no. It's just to make a display stand, because what you can do is you can actually put the card and the figure and display them
Yes.
if you'd like.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that's the idea, is to set it up so that you can put it like this on your shelf if you want.
So when you play, do you use their little stands, the small ones? We didn't
No,
either.
No, those are all, and the reason we put the small stands in the mega pack is because it doesn't come with a battle ball to have the stands. So we wanted to give you
Gotcha.
some kind of a stand to put even the figures that come in that pack as well.
Gotcha.
The stand, it's purely for display purposes and to give this big piece of plastic some use. So hopefully, if you don't throw it in the recycling bin, you have some reason to have it. But I understand that this is a really big piece of plastic to sit on your shelf. But some people, this is, that's what they want to do to display it. We actually 3D printed these really cool 6-piece. We made our own stands for our own home displays that are these modular, like hexagonal stands that you can put together. They're really, really cool. But we just 3D printed them ourselves here at the office so we could display them.
I also like
cool.
with the little booklet that comes with it, it actually gives you a readout of all the characters you could possibly get in your little Thanos stone. I think that's neat.
Yep, and that is because when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do when I got my Star Wars figures was take the card back and flip it over and hang it on my wall and take a little marker and mark every single one that I had, so that way I knew which ones I needed to get next time. I could always give it to my mom and be like, Mom, next time you go to the mall, this is the one I'm looking for.
Oh, I love that.
This is the one right here. So I wanted to make sure kids had the same chance to bug their parents for the exact same thing that I bugged
That's
my
awesome.
parents for.
Okay.
Are you having a hard time?
Yeah.
Here,
so,
just take it and slam it against the table.
Sean,
You won't break it.
I know you're not supposed to open the Thanos stones. But
I know you're not supposed to, but
do most people open them?
most people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
We knew
so
that.
excited.
That was up front. We knew that was going to happen. We try to get people not to. It's because in the gameplay there is a moment when you get to open it in the game.
Yes.
But it's if you're a collector, it's hard to tell anybody to sit around and wait.
I
Okay,
got
listen to my yellow.
Oh, nice. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. I got the masked Spider-Gwen. I just showed you the
Oh,
unmasked
cool.
version.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
So there-
fancy.
There she is, right next to her masked version.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. I love that. Professor Josh has another question. Well, Mac the Ball says, must resist urge to collect these.
No, seriously. So don't even do it just to collect them. Do it to play because it's so much fun. Each of the characters have their own stats and like their own superpowers. Like, so Captain Marvel, she has a guardian power where you do not advance your little red tokens.
Danger tokens.
Yeah. While she is in a duo.
So a duo, that's a thing we introduced in Series 2, where a duo power is a power where it's you and only one other character fighting in a battle together.
Interesting.
Valkyrie.
Yes. So a duo, because then we eventually would like to introduce things like squads or trios, where it's like, hey, if you get 4 people fighting on this one card with you, you get this, super badass power or whatever. I got my final other one is Rocket.
Nice. Rocket the Raccoon.
Oh, cute.
Oh, cool. I don't know. Do we have her? Yeah, we have her, right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So we got Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
She's a great figure.
I was so happy to put her in. I think, if I remember correctly, in that series, she's still called Wanda Maximoff. Isn't that correct on her
I
card?
believe
Is
so.
I think.
Yeah.
Hold on, I could tell you.
That was if I remember correctly, that was because it had not yet been revealed officially in WandaVision that she was the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Wanda Maximoff.
Even though we all knew she was, but
Well, it has to be official.
So
it's official. She's official now.
her power is interesting, and maybe you can explain it just so I can make sure we're doing it right. It says,
Sure.
before Wanda Maximoff attacks, she may swap the position of 2 battles.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that if you have 2 battles that you've been working on, right? So you've on one of them,
that would
right?
work really well
Like as
for
an-
the cursed.
Well, as
Cursed
in-
battles. That's
Yeah.
exactly why that's.
Oh, is that what it's for?
Yeah, because there's the cursed battles, and you can explain that better because it's been a few weeks since we played.
Yeah. Yeah, Loki in Series 2, what we introduced was Loki as our main antagonist. Although, of course, as usual, he's the god of mischief, so he plays both sides. He's still a playable character, and he's trying to screw things up for everybody. But Loki's Trick is a type of game card idea that we came up with where it actually affects the card next to it instead of it. So if you want to remove the curse, like do things like makes the battle more difficult to beat or whatever. And so that's a good use for it. Also, a lot of cards will say things like when you have an adjacent hero, if you can swap a battle and move a player next to you, now they're adjacent. So maybe that means a power you can use that they can use because now you're adjacent. So there's multiple reasons why you would move battles around.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So Heather just got Dino Thor. That's a cool one. That's a cool one. I have not seen him yet. How many do you have, Thanos Stones?
This is my second one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I was working on that one for a long time.
Oh, I thought you had more than that. I'm sorry. Well, that's cool.
Professor Josh asked a cool question, and actually, this has happened. Will you have conversion for the future to buy for special characters you can't normally grab? Sorry.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't have anything. I can't think of anything in the works right now. But it's possible that there will be more con stuff in the future.
That's awesome.
Sure. I think at FunCon, I believe if I saw correctly, I think that the Stealth Iron Man sold out pretty quickly.
Really?
And then I saw it on eBay for like $80 right afterwards. Don't pay $80 for it on eBay, folks. Don't do that, please.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Crazy.
He actually had another.
You can find it.
Oh my God! There's a zombie rhino.
Really?
He's in series 2.
That's cool.
He had another question. Let me find it because he said it a lot better than I could. He said, could it be a future addition to collect Battleworld and have a virtual asset to use in an online game with the ones you collect?
I cannot confirm or deny that is a thing that could happen in the future. Yes, I will answer that with it is a thing that could happen. Yes.
It almost seems like Professor Josh, he knows a lot about. Does he also work for Funko? Because he's asking a lot of questions that are like almost spot on. Do you have the 3D file on Thingiverse for the holder you mentioned?
It's not on Thingiverse right now. I don't know what I got to find out about that. That's something I've mentioned it before about possibly releasing the 3D file for people. But there's, it's obviously since the people who made it are the sculpting team that work at Funko, it's proprietary. So I got to find out what their stance is on just releasing a 3D file like that. If it's not something that we think we might produce, then we would have to get it cleared. But it's super cool, and I will post a picture of it in the Gastlecast group. I think I actually have posted a picture of it in the past. Who'd you get, Chris? What was that one?
This one is Ultron. We do not have him.
Right.
Well,
the Silver Ultron?
I do not like Ultron because he has no additional abilities.
Wow, he doesn't. That's the
Is it Ultron or Ultron Drone?
Ultron, is it? Yeah, Ultron Drone.
Okay, it's a drone. Yeah, he doesn't have any abilities because they're just drones.
Wow.
They don't get any special powers.
You really screwed us with this one, Sean.
Well, no, here's the thing about this one though, Heather. He has points
for all of them.
For all of them.
Interesting.
Which is unlike I think any other character I've seen before.
Yeah. Most will only have 2, sometimes they'll have 3, but it's rare to find one that has 4.
Wow, Dino Thor has a +4 in the green, the fist category there.
Is that the fighty whitey?
Fight. Ooh, I don't know if that's a good one to use either. It's a tighty whitey.
His special ability is rage, and when Dino Thor misses attacks at the fighty whitey battles, you don't advance your little red tokens. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
I'm sure that you get really irritated by what I call things. The little red tokens.
No. That's fine. You call them whatever you want to call them. You would not believe the number of names these things go through before they actually get a final name. So I know them all by names that are nothing like what you see in those booklets. So it's... my Zombie Venom Infinity, my chase guy, his power is Predator, which is Zombie Venom may re-roll attacks once at battles with a target of 7 or less. So if you don't like your roll, you can re-roll.
That's badass. I like that too.
Yeah, I like that.
I think my favorite power of all the ones I've played with, the one I usually go for is Iron Man. Because Iron Man, first series Iron Man, has one where if he hits on his attack, he gets to attack again. And somehow that one, I just always get him and move him around to the battles that are really low numbers and just always double up every single time. He'll get 2 rolls. And yeah.
So
that's probably my favorite power.
This collector, does he have a card down inside of this?
The collector does not. He is not a playable figure in this game. No, he is just a character. We only have 2 of those. We have the collector and we have Thanos from the Series 1 Thanos ship. This guy right here.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Both of them are not playable characters in the game. But if you go to there's a Facebook Battleworld players group. There is some really amazing people in there, and they have come up with player cards I know for the collector, and I think for Thanos that you can just print at home and use if you want to play with them. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that.
They actually also run tournaments. They have tournaments on there that I recently sent over some prize. I gave them some prize stuff. I gave them some of these Ghost Spiders stuff that we had left over from the con. He uses prizes, but they have a really cool kind of achievement-based tournament system where you play like specific games to try to get specific outcomes, like beat an Ultron battle with Ultron or something, where you have to try to get to him and you do it, and then like you turn in your point values or whatever, and they have like a really cool tournament with kids and adults playing together.
That's awesome. Yeah, this Iron Man here, the Stealth Iron Man. Or stealth armor, I'm sorry. When Iron Man moves to a battle that takes 3 hits, place him on the next open space of the hit track. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then he also has the travel portal. Now, that little black thing in there is specific only to the 2 travel portal characters that have been released so far, which is Gold Ultron and Stealth Armor Iron Man, where this character can actually start in the travel portal outside of the game. And then if you lose a battle, the first time you lose a battle, he gets to immediately join the game. There's like he's a new character that you get to use him and play him as a character.
Oh,
so
that's
he's like
awesome.
He's like a support character. He gets to like, oh shit, you're in trouble. Let me jump in and help out. And
that's cool.
That's the idea. So it actually has gameplay. Not only can it hang on Max's backpack, but you can also actually play with it too.
No, I love that you guys are throwing in like these new like fun little like that is cool. I like that. I like that the Thanos is dropped in there. That's really neat. I love that the game is so easy that we can sit down and play with Max, because when a game gets too complicated, like Dean had mentioned before, you kind of get scared away, but this game really dragged us in because of that. It wasn't so complex.
Exactly, but it's not as simple as like shoots and ladders.
Exactly,
where you get bored after like half of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just enough complexity to it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I spent all last year playing with my, we were in lockdown, and I had all these figures and all these cards, and I was play testing these games constantly. And so my son sat with me and played umpteen 100 games of Battleworld with me, where we were trying every possible combination of characters and cards and everything we could think of to just keep trying. And at no point in time did he ever just get to the point where he was like, because the games last like 15 minutes sometime,
Sure.
they don't last a long time. Like, it's fun to sit down and just play a game. I'll play it while I'm playing. Some days at lunch, I'm eating my lunch and playing a Battleworld game, or teaching somebody at work how to play, some of the new folks.
That's cool.
Folks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did want to mention to you guys too, I have 3 sets to give away.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so to do that, I have written 3 trivia questions, because I know that Heather loves doing the pick a number thing.
No, I hate it. But I don't think you were around. So like probably about 2 years ago,
yeah.
I did trivia for one of our giveaways, and people got so mad at me. So just prepare yourself for all the hate you're about to get.
All you got to do is be the first person who types the right answer in. That's all it's got to be.
Excellent.
And if you're trying to Google it, you may not be the first person to get the answer. So
they'll fight you. They will go in your inbox and send you screenshots where they think that they were the first person.
I used to box. I'm fine with that.
So quick question for you before we get into that. Actually, I have one thing to say and then a question. I'll get to the question first. Is this giveaway only for folks in the U.S.?
We'll be shipping it from work. I think we could support people overseas if we needed to.
Okay. Yeah, so we can work that out depending on who wins. I mean, it might not even come down to that, but we'll see. But the next thing I wanted to just quickly throw in, I actually met a friend recently at work, an older gentleman, and he explained to me how hard it is for him to collect a lot of these larger collectibles. Like, let's say, your Funko Pop takes up a pretty good amount of room, right? And then when you get to the 10-inch, that takes up a lot of room. Well, he watched our video when we received the first wave or line of these from you, and he emailed me one day, I think a couple of days later, and he goes, I just want to let you know that I really appreciate that you showed that on your channel. He goes, I really love smaller collectibles. He goes, because you don't have to dedicate a lot of space to it. He goes, I'm going to be ordering a lot of these Battleworld battle balls. I just love this. This is awesome. And the more he was saying that, I was like, damn, he's right, because this weekend I have been moving boxes upon boxes upon boxes. I mean, we're like at 1,700 Funko Pops right now. And I'm moving this stuff around because I'm going to start to get, trade off or sell some of this stuff. We have to make some space in the house for our upcoming Ghastly toy. So that guy's absolutely 100% right. These things are perfect for that. So I'm just throwing this out there to you folks who are watching this right now, and you have all these sodas and pops and stuff like that. Not only do you have a collectible that is really neat, I mean, the little figures are really cool. You get a lot of detail out of them for how small they are. Not only that, you also don't have to take up a lot of room. And even better than that, you have a game that you can play that includes the figures. Like, to me, that's just so brilliant that you take an item like a collectible of some sort or nature. Like, you could have this little guy right here, this soda, right, this cocoa soda, and he's now involved in a game somehow. You have a card that's printable where you're playing with this character. I just think that's such a brilliant. I think it's such a brilliant idea. Such a brilliant idea.
Again, for me, it just hits on all the things of me being a kid and thinking it's exactly the same thing I think of. Is my house is insane right now.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, even worse, because I just sat around doing nothing but ordering shit all day.
Me too.
So, it's insane how much space taken up. But then, I'm like, yeah, but my entire Battleworld collection is literally sitting on one shelf, and I have over 100 Battleworld figures. So I have 100 Battleworld figures on one shelf.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and they look great. And if you're a Marvel fan, they're certainly going to be up your alley. So let's jump into these giveaways.
Okay. So I've got 3 questions. They're not about the game, so people are be like, I've never played the game before. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you about things about our game if you've never played it. But, okay, I'll do the first question here. And so the first person to type the answer in, we'll get their name, and then, let's see, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if you guys want to watch it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you the answer to the first question. Well, I'll send you the whole question and answer, I guess. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, please do, because I probably don't know anything. Also, I was really hoping that you would ask questions about the game so I could win all the pieces.
I was kind of, I was thinking I just eliminated you guys from doing this. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to send it to you in our messenger thing here, I think.
Oh, excellent. Okay, cool.
That way you have it. Okay, so... all right, so I'll just ask the first question. So the first question is, I'm going to read it off here, so pardon me if I feel like I flubbed the words, because I did type this out pretty quickly earlier today. In the story of our game, and the story of our Battleworld game, it is created by Thanos to trap the heroes from different worlds in the multiverse. However, in the Marvel Comics, there have been 3 different versions of Battleworld since it was first introduced in 1984. My question is, who in the Marvel Universe created the first version of Battleworld in that seminal 1984 series?
And they're off to the races.
Holy cow. That's a big question, Sean. You're good at trivia.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if anybody gets it. I'm gonna watch real quick here. I'm watching the live, which is really screwy because it's like
I know it's off, and yeah,
It's
exactly,
weird.
Yeah,
exactly.
super weird. Okay.
So,
Edzilla X.
oh
Got
my
it.
God!
How did you know that?
Oh my God! People are answering left and right now.
Yep, yoink. Narberry, y'all got it right, but Edzilla X was first.
Wow, excellent!
Congratulations, Edzilla.
Congratulations.
Sean, do you want them to contact us or you?
They can contact me. Let's see. Edzilla X. When we're done here, I don't know how actually, you know what? Let's let them contact you because your contact information is already inside there, and I don't want to give them my Funko email.
Sure.
That would be.
So,
hey, everybody, here's my Funko email on the channel.
Okay, and yeah, we'll forward you their information.
All I need,
So,
yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Edzilla X, please message either Chris or myself on Facebook or Instagram at Gastlecast or email gastlecast@gmail.com.
I would say just email us at gastlecast@gmail.com. It'll just be easier to keep straight of who's messaging.
I can
and all
keep
that stuff.
I can keep track of anything, Eddie. Don't listen to Chris. Contact us wherever
All right,
you feel most comfortable.
take it easy over there, Heaven.
It's
And
not
I should mention, so what you're going to win, what I'm going to send you is a mega pack, a Chase Battle Ball from Series 1, the glitter Chase Battle Balls, that has a chance to get one of those Chase figures, a Series 2 Battle Ball, and one of the Gen Con exclusive Ghost Fighters. So all three of these packages will be those three things, those four things.
You know, somebody asked earlier, do you happen to get the artist proofs or protos of these things? I think last night during our live Patreon call, which, by the way, the Patreon call last night was amazing. We talked for like
It was a mess.
We talked for like 4 hours. It was so much fun. But do you get those, and what happens with them?
I do, and they go on my shelf.
Excellent.
This is the first physical game product these are the first figures I've ever had any involvement in making, and it just thrills me to no end. Right now, they're sitting in a bag next to my desk, but they will be on my shelf whenever I'm fully cleared from the series, and I don't have to worry about making sure that they're still around. But yeah, we do get prototypes of them.
Sweet.
For Series 1, I didn't get very many. I got a few, and they weren't really much. They were prototypes, but they were just unpainted versions of the first shots of the figures. I think I got a couple of Goose, the cat with the flirkin coming out of his mouth.
Oh, awesome.
And a couple other ones. But for Series 2, I did get a complete set of prototypes, unpainted prototypes. And then yeah. So that's and then I have even all these little special figures too. I also have a bunch of like the error ones because I will get these figures. You know, there's a lot of back and forth.
Sure.
As you probably know, Chris.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of back and forth trying to tune it exactly the way you want it. So like this Frost Giant Loki, I swear to God, there's I probably have 15 variations where like we couldn't get the eye color exactly right. Like I wanted the pupils a certain shade on top of the red and it wasn't coming and they would miss gold spots. And I was like, I can't sign off on it until I see a completely perfect figure. And so I have so many variations that are just like screwed up versions where like the eyes can't be seen or the eyes are totally red or they're totally black or whatever.
I find it to be so impressive that you are this passionate about the game that it has to be just right. And it just translates well when you're looking at all these figures side by side. Like I'm looking at these guys right here. They just all look so like awesome. They look perfect. And I think it's just, it just shows your love for this game and these figures, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you very
absolutely,
much. I'm glad that comes across because I really do. I do love it. I love everything about it. I love having my hands involved and being part of a team that works on this. It's just our sculptor is amazing. The factory folks are amazing. Our production folks that help us get this stuff made, you know, through the factory are amazing. Like my game designer that works with me. We sit down and are always bouncing ideas for powers and stats and mechanics off of each other for the game, just to come up with ideas of what could we do if it was anything in the world you ever wanted to do, what would you want this to do? You know?
Sure.
So Yeah, it's really fun. Should I should we just do all 3 questions, huh? Because it's getting
Go ahead with the next one.
You guys are on the East Coast. I'm like, it's only 7:00, but it's not. I forget you guys are way over there in the future. We gotten flying cars in the future yet, by the way?
No, unfortunately, we have not.
All right. At 10 p.m., we still don't have flying cars. Okay. So second question is, in the MCU, we have recently been introduced to He Who Remains, a variant of villain Kang the Conqueror. Kang exists in many forms throughout time and the multiverse, including Earth 8311, a version of Earth where the superheroes and supervillains are all animals. For instance, this is where Peter Porker becomes Spider-Ham and Captain Americat and Iron Mouse lead the Scavengers. That really is what they're called too, by the way. It's super cool.
That's awesome.
In that universe, what animal does the time-traveling supervillain take form in?
Oh my gosh. That is so
That's hilarious.
good.
Yeah. And it just so happens that it has a lot to do with what we were talking about last night.
Hey.
Well, in a more of a gross way, I guess.
Oh, look. I just saw Ernie. I just saw Ernest Z hopped in there. Oh, Larbear.
Boom.
Got it. No question mark. Kangaroo the Conqueror.
Excellent.
Again, email gastlecast@gmail.com.
Yes, please.
Instagram @gastlecast, or contact Chris or I on Facebook.
Please do. You know, I'm sitting here looking at this figure, and it was a FunCon drop, this Iron Man. How special was that? I mean, because this is a piece that's dropped during a convention.
That blew my mind. When they asked me, we had made plans. We were going to make them. We were making plans to. I believe we were making plans to do this anyway. We'd already had it queued up to do this for Series 2, and then they said, I was told that there were thoughts of, is there anything that we had that we could release as a convention exclusive for Battleworld? And it was the first thing that popped in my mind, because I was like, the figure is super cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, and we've released the travel portal in Series 1. So I was like, well, it's not that people wouldn't be able to get a travel portal, because it still exists in Series 1. If it was going to make something exclusive, let's make it to where you could get a common version and an exclusive version, if that's the way we wanted to do it. So that was how I suggested, when I was asked what we should do with it. And so, yeah, I thought it blew my mind, because it was the only, I think there may have also been, was it the only game that was in there for FunCon?
I believe so. I don't remember anything else being like.
Yeah, because Emerald City had that Darkwing Duck for
Yes.
Funkoverse. I
Yes.
remember that. And I think this was the only thing for FunCon. So yeah, we were the only game thing that was included in that. And I thought that was just amazing.
And it's funny, do you remember where this was sold? Was it Funko.com? Was it on the website?
It was only on Funko.com.
Okay.
There was no shared retail.
And it must have sold out, because it's not on Funko.com anymore.
Oh no, it sold out before. Yeah, it sold out before I could get to it.
Wow.
It was already sold out.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because I was like, well, I'm happy I have like a proof from the factory, because I don't think I could have gotten it. So, no, I was going to say earlier, there was a, Jorvan Rick said, I feel out nerded. Oh, sorry, Jorvan Rick. I saw that Ernest Ziegenfelder is in there. Ernie is actually our sculptor who sculpts a lot of the figures you're looking at right now.
Oh, wow.
He is our 3D sculptor that worked on Series 2 for Battleworld. So
No kidding.
Ernie, you're getting a lot of love. Everyone likes your figures, man.
Yeah,
I know you're always wondering. People love it.
They're
Ernie
my favorites.
Ernie
You did a
a
good
brilliant
job.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
I've been commenting a lot on the zombie Red Skull. I want to see more zombie stuff in the future.
You hear
I
that,
hope,
Ernie?
I hope
Zombies.
there's more. I would love some more zombies. I love the zombie stuff. It's awesome.
So question for Ernie, if you're still here, I would love to know what your favorite sculpt that you personally did is. That'd be my favorite.
I'd like to know that too. I would like to know that too, Ernie. Throw it in there.
We're interviewing Ernie. This was a Sean Neal interview,
He's
but
far
now
more interesting. He's the creative one.
All
I
right.
think you're
I'm
pretty
like-
creative.
Let's see if
I'm the man child who just like pounds his fist and says, "Get it done by tomorrow." That's what I do.
let's see if we can out nerd our buddy here again.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Okay, I have one more question for the last pack here of stuff that I have. Okay. In Series 2 of Marvel Battleworld, our heroes, led by the mischievous scamp Loki, stole that from the show, travel to the Collector's Tower in search of a powerful weapon that actually appears in the best Thor film, Thor Ragnarok. Wielded by the mighty Surtur as he lays waste to Asgard and fulfills the great prophecy of Ragnarok. What is the name of this fiery weapon, which went on to influence a lot of Battleworld Series 2?
Awesome. And Ernie, his name is Ernest, but I'm going to call him Ernie since Sean did.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh man, that's such a hard one." So he's having a hard time coming up with an answer for that
Because he
as well.
loves them all just as much as we do. Except,
Yeah.
I don't love this stupid one, this Ultron. Sorry if you made it, Ernie. But it's not because I think he's ugly. It's because of his stupid card. And I bet you Sean is behind it, where it doesn't give you any special abilities. I'm really
Ernie
upset
would-
about that. You know where this thing's going to go? Not in the game.
What are you? Look at the card. He has points for everything.
Chris is going to have this one. He likes it.
I will
I
beat the
don't.
I will beat the crap out of this game with that.
Oh, I
character.
thought you were
watch.
going to say out of me. I was going
I'm
to
going
say
to slap
can't
you
beat
around
me.
with the Ultron Sentry.
Mac the Ball got it. Mac the Ball.
Oh,
was the
congratulations!
Twilight Sword. Dean
Wow.
Blockley went for the deep cut, the Elder Style. That is another name for it. The Elder Style, the Sword of Surtur, the Sword of Doom. Twilight Sword was the name we were looking for, though, and that was the first one that popped up. Someone said the Big Fiery Sword. Yes, that is the Big Fiery Sword.
That's a good way to explain it.
Congratulations.
Dead Boy.
Mac the Ball.
Dead Boy asked, and this is a question I don't think any of us can answer really. What is the most expensive plastic to make a figure out of? I don't think we have an answer for that, right? That's a
No.
yeah.
We have production. I have production folks who figure that out for us.
There you go.
Who know all about, like, there's one of our production guys. Will get something and be like, I really want to make something out of this, and he's like, okay, cool, and he'll run outside. He'll start burning it in the parking lot. And we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I can tell what it's made of if I can see how it burns. And I was like, oh my God, that's a weird way of doing things. But yeah, he's always right. He knows exactly what to do to check and see what to make it out of. I don't know enough about production stuff like that to know what the most expensive one would be. They're all pretty expensive right now, thanks to the pandemic.
Ernie dropped his answer. So Ghost Rider 2099 is his favorite.
See? That's my favorite too.
He said we worked hard to make sure his fire was perfect, and he says Zombie Rhino. I'm going to need that. Hulk 2099 and Cap Wolf. Cap Wolf is a great figure. I like that figure a lot.
Yeah, I think we can also take credit for the fact that the reason they made a Cap Wolf Funko Pop is because last year when we proposed that as a character for Series 2, like I was saying to you earlier, Chris, I was working on Series 2 character choices with Marvel early last year, like April, May of last year.
Okay.
And we sent that character over, and the team, we shared that with Brian Mariotti and some other folks, and they were like, what is that? At the time, we just called him Werewolf Captain America. And they were like, what is that character? And we were like, oh, that's Werewolf Captain America from the Spider Island comic series. And they were like, oh my God, I think we may have to steal that and make a pop out of that. And then when I saw the announcement for the FunCon pop, I was like, we did it first.
That's awesome. That's weird that you're saying that, because when I saw the little minifig, which I believe you had shipped to us at some point, or maybe, I don't know if we got them ourselves. But anyway, when I pulled them out, I was like, oh shit, they made a Funko Pop of this. And now I didn't know that. I didn't know you guys did it first.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It kind of came out at the same time, though, because, of course, that was Series 2. Like I said, we were working on that early last year. You know, it didn't come out until June, July, August of this year.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, well, they almost beat us to market with the pop version of it.
I just want to say, since Ernie is here, Ernie, you do fantastic work, man. All these figures are just amazing. Of course, I never would have thought about jumping into this until, Sean and I started talking about it, maybe a month ago, month and a half ago. But now I'm just so happy that you got me into this that I have to let the world know. So we'll probably end up doing a video where we talk a little bit more about this. I really want to do, maybe we could do this in the future, Sean. This is something to think about. Mm-hmm. We could all play together during a live.
I would love it.
I think that would be really cool.
Wait, how do we play?
Remotely. I've played remotely with people before, so there are ways to do it. We can come up with ways to do it. Yeah.
We should certainly try to do that, and maybe Ernie would like to hop on and play too. If Ernie's there, maybe he'd like to jump on and play some with us. I think that would be kind of cool.
Serious question: how do you play remotely?
There's two different ways you can do it. Usually you can have it all moved on one side where we can have like everything set up on your side, and then we can roll dice and stuff from our side and just call out where we move. Or we can have two games kind of happening simultaneously, but we both have to win in order to win. And so we would take our turns in our order, and any rolls, anything that happens would affect both of our games.
Listen.
Oh, I like that.
No, let me tell you something. If you bring me down because you can't win, I'm going to be really mad.
I'm thinking of something smart here. I could I'm just thinking out loud. I could bring another camera in here to face down on the board. And on the board, film us, and then they'll be filmed, so we'll all be able to see what the board looks like.
Ernie would be down.
Really? That'd be awesome.
Do you want to know something really crazy? Like, this is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
I think this is the longest we've talked nice things about a Funko product.
This is a record?
I think so. And is anyone keeping track of time? But is it because Sean's here on us and we're going to talk shit after the call?
No, of course not. No, of course not, Heather. No.
We love Battleworld.
Yeah, I'll be dead honest with you. I just didn't know how I'd feel about it because I'm not really like a board game kind of guy. I don't, like figures and stuff like that. But when you explain that, hey, you should give the game a shot, give it a shot. And we sat down with Max, my son, and we played it, and it was just so much fun. It's just one of those things I would have never thought that I would be into.
Me neither.
And then the very next day, not to cut you off, but the very next day, Heather and I are now driving around to see if we can buy more battle balls.
Yeah.
Like that was like one whole day. We're like driving to GameStops like all over, Maryland.
I think we drove to 6 that day.
Yeah. Trying to find them.
Yeah. I was going to say something, but I forget what it was. Darn it.
I'm rude and I cut you off.
I know. You do that all the time.
I know.
And then
I know.
I completely lose track of what I'm saying. But yeah, we absolutely love this game. It is so much fun. Oh, I know what it was. When I found the video of the guy playing, that was like, it was some obscene amount of time. It was like 40 minutes or 50 something minutes or something. I'm thinking, man, this thing is too complicated for me. And here Sean is telling me it's easy. No, it's not easy, Sean. It's easy. But this person that we ended up watching went very in depth, and he came up with a bunch of scenarios like, okay, what would happen if you did this? And how do the Loki cursed cards work and things like that. It was really in depth, and I'm glad that I actually sat down and watched
we literally watched him play.
Yeah.
We watched him play a game.
It was really cool.
Yeah, he did a good job in that video, actually.
Yeah, that sounds very in depth. I would love to. There's so many scenarios because the thing is, we try to test as many scenarios obviously as we can when we're working on it. But inevitably, when you release it to the world, there's no amount of scenario testing and play testing we can do that could match when thousands of people are playing it at the same time. Like it's just they're going to come across situations that we are going to be so edge case. And a lot of times that's what's great about like there are forums for asking questions. Like Board Game Geek is a great website that has hosts forums, people that ask gameplay questions and things like that we often jump on and answer their questions. The Facebook groups are awesome. We go in there. I'm in there all the time. I mean, I believe last time I looked, and I was like, even like Andrew Perlmutter, our current vice president, our current president, about to be our CEO soon. Is in that group and it occasionally posts in there and stuff too, right?
Wow.
So we have support from that level on down for this game, and And I appreciate you guys giving it a chance. Again, I actually never thought you guys would ever actually play it. I figured I was going to get you hooked on the figures, and then if that, if that's what it is, that's what it is, and great. Like, I love the figures too. So, but it's awesome because you actually fall exactly into one of the categories of people who I constantly keep in my mind, which is cool parents, cool aunts and uncles, cool people who want to introduce their kids to Marvel, and they're trying to find a way in, right? Some Marvel stuff in the movies sometimes it can be, if you're talking about a 6 or 7 year old, some of it's a little too intense for a 6 or 7 year old, I think.
Sure.
Personally, I think. So like, but I could show him Captain America Cat. Do I want to show him like the Nazis fighting Captain America? Like at 6 years old, like I don't want to really explain Nazis. Let's keep you in the dark on that for a little while longer, so that we know, But it's like a great opportunity to be like, I can show you Captain America Cat. I can show you Doctor Strange. I have to explain magic and the creepiness of the Doctor Strange movie to you, but I can show you a crocodile who does magic. That's cool.
Right.
So that's like one of the categories of people that I feel like this game is like appeals to, like the cool aunts and uncles that like are strolling through the store trying to find something Marvel related, and like this is something really cool to introduce your kids to Marvel. Anyway, but I appreciate you guys giving it a chance, and I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about it.
Of course.
I obviously am very proud of it. We are as a group, as a company, we are all very proud of it. I just love getting a chance to dig into it with anybody. So
well, and I
people at the office are probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about it.
Well, no, I love hearing you talk about it, and I like how passionate you are about it, and it makes me more interested in the product. The figures alone, are just amazing. The game is great, but just listening to you talk about it makes me want to go out and buy even more. We do have some comments here as we're closing out. Richard Supley says this gives me flashbacks to Hero Clicks in the best way.
Cool. That's kind words. I love Hero Clicks too.
Jor Von Rick.
It's Danny.
Okay, Danny. They're great. That's great. It won you over off the target. So it looks like he's going to go buy some now. Professor Josh says, I always love games that don't take hours to play. I'm in this boat. I like casual games. Just short and have some fun. Target has a lot of battle balls usually. In the Marvel toy aisle, which we talked about before this live, if you want to buy these aren't in the game aisle. They're actually in the aisle with the figures, Marvel figures. Yeah,
you can get them at Target. We're going to be in Walmart, and I believe in Walmart we're going to be probably somewhere up by the front, by where they're. I think that's where they're putting us, either up by where all their collectible like the TCG games are, like Pokemon and Magic and all that, or on the aisle on the registers. I'm not sure exactly which one, but we will be in Walmart soon. We are in drugstores. You'll find us at Walgreens, CVS, Bartell's if you're up north, Pacific Northwest here. Local game stores can carry us. They have our stuff too. So, but yes, in Target specifically, you will find us in the toy aisle, not in the game aisle. So if you walk over to the board game aisle, you'll find all kinds of other Funko games there. But Battleworld lives in the toy aisle with all the Marvel action figures. So if you're looking for it there, and if they don't have it, go up front and complain if you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go and complain, because
tell them.
Mac the Ball says, now I can't wait to get my hands on these. And yes, absolutely. Go out and buy yourself some. Not only do you get the cool figures and all that, there's mystery in the little battle balls. Like, that's kind of fun too. It's like, finding a chase and all that jazz, just all there. But Sean, thank you so much for your time. And thank you even more for your friendship, getting to know you and everything. You're an awesome dude, and we really love talking to you and hanging with you. We'll have to do stuff with you like this more often, as long as you can get the sign off on it. And especially, I'd like to play the game with you during a live. I think that would be such a blast.
I'm very intimidated. I don't know.
You're playing with the creator. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, you get remember, it's all cooperative,
right?
So it's not like if I win, if you win, we all win, right?
There you go.
But you're gonna carry the team. You're gonna carry us.
That's right.
You're the best that there is.
Watch you end up being the most badass in the whole game.
I'm the Harry Potter.
Yeah, you're the Harry Potter.
You're not playing against my son. He's a beast. He tears the game
Wow.
apart. He knows exactly what combination of characters works best. And I have too many characters in my brain, so it's hard for me to remember like which combinations work well because I'm constantly trying different things. So, but thank you guys too. I appreciate you.
Sure.
I appreciate y'all's friendship. Same thing. Same goes. But I felt like last night was the first time in a long time I've been to a party, and at least in a year and a half or 2 years. That's what it felt like last night. I felt like I was at a party. So that was awesome.
I love the Patreon calls. I wish we could do them more often. With our schedule, it's really tough. But doing those like 2 to 4 hour calls on Patreon is a blast. And I feel exactly the same way. It's like hanging out with a bunch of old friends, and partying with everybody. So that's badass. But dude, thank you so much, guys. Make sure you go and check these out. Like you said, going to Target, going down that Marvel action figure aisle, and you'll find these bad boys. Go buy yourself some. And if you find them, tag us in what you get, because I want to see what you're getting. I want to see those chases. I want to see what you're picking up. We got to see. I got to know. And if you get a zombie rhino, I'm going to fight you for it, because that's my next one that I want. That's the next one on my list. And so thank you guys. And by the way, we're getting all these thank yous to you, and they're saying how much they love your product. So there you go, Sean. It all worked out.
Thanks.
Yep. But guys, as always, remember, we are together. What are you slapping my leg for here?
I have an announcement before we go. I'm really, really sorry. I thought you were going to close out before.
That's okay. No, it's okay.
After Sean left, but
okay.
I do want to say that we just added magnets. You don't have one on hand, do you?
No.
They're 3-inch magnets. I would have to run to the other room to grab one.
It's over there, is it not? I had one lying on the table, didn't I?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
They're our Mischief Toys logo. They're live on mischieftoys.com. They're $5 a piece, shipped, free shipping, $5 a piece. They're live now. Go get yours, and it'll be in the mail tomorrow.
Boom. There you go. Thank you, Sean, again. Guys, remember, as always, we are together, yes. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.